What's up, Pokemon fans? I'm Professor K from the Pokemon Evolutionaries, and joining me, we have...
ZapdosTCG here, bringing you competitive TCG information, as always.
That's right, guys, and today we're going to be taking a look at Ultra Prism. I know people on our channel are like, wait a minute, a set review? We haven't seen one of those in a long time, but we're finally going to do it again, so...
Hooray!
Yeah, for sure. Really excited to be working with ZapdosTCG here. Actually, I have to say, yours is a channel that I looked up to for quite a long time, especially since I came in, in 2014, and you started your channel, like, how many years before mine?
I think I started in 2011, so that's ages ago.
Yeah, 3 years ago. 3 years before mine, and that's 7 years ago. Pretty wild. Time flies, man.
Indeed. I went out for a couple of years, but now I'm back, it's great to work with enthusiastic people like you, so...
Hey, I can definitely say the same thing. Like I said, I watched a lot of your videos when I was starting my channel and getting the things together, so really excited to finally be working together, and we're going to be talking about a really awesome set here today.
Ultra Prism.
Yep, that's right, that's right. So, I'm not going to lie, I've let ZapdosTCG here has come up with a good list that we're going to be talking about here. We're going to kind of skip over some of the other cards. I mean, this is a 173 card set. I believe it's the third largest set of all time. So if we talk about every card, you're going to be here for a while. So we're just going to talk about the ones that stand out competitively and what you can expect to see played in some decks.
Indeed, and the first thing on the list is Torterra, a beast with 180 HP.
There it is right there. I'll go ahead and let you talk about that one a little bit first. I'll let you go first.
Okay, we have the Torterra. It has a massive retreat cost of 4, which means things like Heavy Ball could work out in this type of deck. And this deck aims to just stay alive turn after turn. Has the attack Giga Drain just for 2 grass, and Carless Energy lets you heal the same amount of damage that you did to the opponent. So let's say you hit for 100 damage because something like Lycanroc GX is weak to it. Then you heal 100 damage, so could be a neat pick here. Also, the Earthquake deals 180 damage, and this attack deals 20 damage to each of your bench Pokemon. With Mr. Mime, you prevent that, so you need a lot of energies to set it up, but once you set it up, it's a tank.
Definitely a really interesting Pokemon, not to mention that HP is just ridiculously high. We were just talking about that before we started. 180 HP on a Stage 2, that's not even a GX or anything like that. That's pretty bulky.
Yeah, and definitely thinking about it, everybody is two-shotting nowadays. Things like Zoroark, Golisopod, 120 damage seems to be the number here, and 180 will be hard to knock out, unless they are playing Volcanion.
Yes, absolutely, which, with all the metal hype and everything else, we're probably going to see just a little bit of that, but the good news is we can actually do something to help with that. There's another card here worth looking at, and the next one would be Cherrim. Now, Cherrim's kind of a cool Pokemon. Of course, it evolves from Cherubi, so this is a Stage 1, but its ability is going to help you out quite a bit in the fire matchups if you're playing Torterra anyway. Each of your grass Pokemon has no weakness thanks to the ability Weather Guard. So that's pretty neat. No worries about fire types there.
Indeed, this Cherrim actually might give some light because we also have a Leafeon evolving the entire bench. So if you have one of your Cherubi on the bench happen to be there thanks to something like Bridget, you can just evolve this with this along and poof, your weakness is gone. So Leafeon weak to fire, which we're going to talk about in a minute.
Okay, all right, I'll let you go ahead and move on to that one.
So, Leafeon GX. All the evolutions do have 200 HP, so no difference here, and it also is weak to fire again. Volcanion might just see a lot of play thanks to everything being weak to fire that is interesting in the set, but we also have other cards that you just could cover Volcanion. So it's gonna be like a triangle stuff like rock, paper, scissors format where we have grass, fire, and of course water with Glaceon. Anyway, this is Leafeon, Breath of the Leaves. If this Pokemon is your active, once during your turn, you may heal 50 damage from one of your Pokemon that has any energy attached to it. So this is an interesting thing because you don't have to attach an extra energy. You can just heal damage, actually heal the HP once you have an energy attached. So you can do that every single turn. So I do think this also stacks. So let's say you have Leafeon in the active, you just decide to retreat to another Leafeon, you can then heal 100 damage. So that is definitely interesting. Solar Beam, 110 damage flat, and then the interesting attack, Professor K, take it here.
All right, let's take a look at this. So for a single grass energy, we've got Grand Bloom GX. For each of your benched basic Pokemon, search your deck for a card that evolves from that Pokemon and put it onto that Pokemon to evolve it, then shuffle your deck. So if you have a whole entire bench full of unevolved basic Pokemon, you're able to search out, well, just about anything. You can just evolve the entire bench, which is crazy. But again, you know, I think this is going to help balance things out a little bit. Like you just said before, Metal seems to be the biggest player in this set, but I wouldn't sleep on Grass too much. It's a pretty good card.
Indeed, and also we have the Eevee from the Sun and Moon base set, which can evolve on the first turn. So if you can get a Grass Energy on your first turn and you start second, you can immediately use Granbloom GX after a Bridget, and boom, your entire bench has already evolved up into their Stage 1 version.
Yes, definitely. We're about to see Decidueye, I think, go up in price a little bit now.
Indeed. The good thing is that you can also get it in a collection box, so at least Pokemon is doing a very good job bringing competitive cards in collection boxes, so I definitely enjoy that. I'm interested to see what cards they're going to pick for collection boxes in this set.
Yeah, not to mention I noticed that at least with this set, they stepped up their quality in the theme decks as well, so that's always a good thing.
Yeah, I definitely enjoy that, because most of the times team decks are just useless in the TCG of Pokemon, but now they actually put in really competitive cards like Empoleon, for example.
And not to mention Garchomp as well in the other one, so very good to see. Very good to see.
Last thing about Granbloom GX is that it might also give some light to niche Mega Pokemon, because Mega Pokemon did have the downside to have ending your turn if you evolve them, and they needed the Spirit Link, but with this you can just, maybe with Nazball and Pokemon Fan Club, set up a bunch of EXs, boom, get them to their Mega Evolution, and we're good to go.
That's another interesting strategy as well. That's something I didn't even think about. I like that quite a bit, actually. Not bad, not bad. All right, let's take a look at the next one here. This is just going to be a thing where we kind of glance over just a little bit. We were talking about the Rotoms here. So the interesting thing about Rotoms here is that their attacks are free thanks to its ability if you have 9 or more Pokemon Tool cards in your discard pile. So getting them there in Standard is probably going to be next to impossible, but in Expanded, where we have cards like Battle Compressor, it's definitely very possible to get that many tool cards in your discard pile, and you've got a whole bunch of different types of Rotoms, and you can use their attacks for free and hit with weakness depending on which one you've got. Like this one here is Grass, so you can hit something else for 120 damage for free and discard a special energy from your opponent's active Pokemon. But as the card stands as itself, with a Grass and a double colorless requirement, 60 damage and discarding a special isn't awful, but it's also not going to be, I think, a good fit for Standard either. But definitely a cool card.
Yeah, indeed. I like the way that they are implementing all these Rotoms. We have all these different types with all these different attacks that you can use for 0 energies once you have 9 or more tool cards in the discard. The only bad nightmare here is if something shuts down your ability, you're actually falling apart completely. So I don't think they will see that much play, but they're definitely interesting if you like to collect legendaries. Rotom is a legendary. You at least have a bunch of those.
That is true. There is that.
And then, for the last grass type, it is Araquanid. So Pokemon is actually making it so they have a different version of types for certain Pokemon, and this is no different. From the Sun and Moon base, we have Araquanid, which was a water type. This is a grass type. So it prevents all damage done to it by fire types, I believe, so could be interesting in a grass deck.
Potentially, absolutely. I know that we saw, what was it, I think it was Grant Manley that piloted a deck that had Araquanid, the water version, quite a while back. It wasn't, which one was it? I think it was Virginia Regionals. He had a quad Mr. Mime deck where he used that Araquanid actually to pretty good success, so that was kind of fun to watch.
Indeed, I always love these niche picks, so it makes it really entertaining if it's on a stream or doing really well at the tournament.
Definitely, definitely. All right, I think the next one we had in line was Infernape, right?
Indeed.
All right.
This one does not have 180 HP, though.
No, it does not. It's got 130 HP, but it does have a pretty neat ability. Hot-Blooded Fighter. Your opponent's active Pokemon takes 6 damage counters from burn in between turns. I've noticed for a long time Burn has kind of fallen by the wayside, and I feel like they're slowly trying to find ways to make it relevant again, and 6 damage counters for Burn is pretty brutal. It'd be an interesting thing to take hold, I think.
Yeah, I know, but they have to have that burn condition. This one has an attack to make the opponent burns, but maybe we can have like later down the line an ability that you can just say your opponent's active is now burned. Then maybe we could see some niche pick with Infernape, but now I don't think it'll be seeing that much play, but the ability is definitely interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely would like to see a card similar to what we had from Hypnotoxic Laser, where that would give poison and the potential to go to sleep. Now, if you could just get that in with something with burn, perhaps maybe you could do something then. But when you have to rely on an attack for the ability to go through, it's probably not as good as what it would be if we had something like that.
Indeed, I would have wished that the attack for Infernape did a little bit more damage, so at least we can get the one shot with that ability, but unfortunately.
Yeah, the maximum you're going to get out of that, even with a choice band, is only going to be 140.
Indeed, unless you're facing the Lissabot, but
right.
Then you're not even one-shotting, so what's the point?
Very true, very true.
So, next card is, again, a Rotom. Not too much to say about this. This one deals flat 80 damage. It's a fire type, and you'll have to have 2 cards in the discard in order to get use out of this Rotom.
Yep, and this one does a little bit more damage. Does 80 instead of 60, but there's no added benefit of discarding a special energy or anything like that. Just a flat 80.
With choice band, actually kind of relevant, I guess.
Yeah, you get it up to 110. That's 220 damage for weaknesses. That's definitely a decent number to hit as well. All right, so what's the next card we have on the board here?
I think we can just go straight into the water types, but I just want to mention that Pokemon loves Turtonator and Salazzle, so they're again in the set, just for the sake of it.
Yep, there it is right there. There's our Salazzle, and there's Turtonator once again as well. Definitely been a lot of those cards. All right, so next up here would be Empoleon, right?
First we had a Alolan Sandslash, just a niche pick here. Not gonna see that much play, but for 0 energies, this Pokemon can deal 30 damage, and if it's attacked during your opponent's next turn, you can place 6 damage counters on that Pokemon. So basically, kind of a shell trap on Stage 1 Pokemon for 0 energies.
Yep, guaranteed 30, and the possibility to go for another 6. You're either going to make them attack you or play something to switch you out, whether that be an Escape Rope or a Guzma or something like that. Which, if you make them play Guzma to get out of that, they're wasting their supporter for their turn, and that's always a bad thing when you can't use your draw supporters anyway.
Exactly.
All right, so now we'll go ahead and jump over to Empoleon. Empoleon is a card that I'm very excited about. I was around during the era of Dark Explorers Empoleon, and that was such a great card. That was Attack Command. Now this is Total Command. Now, the only difference here is the energy cost. This is going to be a Water and a Colorless. The old attack was just a Water, and it did less damage. It did 10 times. But this one does 20 times the number of Pokemon on each player's bench. Now,
wow.
Yeah, that is a big number. That is a big number. That has the potential to do 200 damage in standard 200 damage for 2 energy. It's just really, really good. And can you imagine the amount of damage you could do in Expanded by playing Skyfield?
Wow, yeah, this Empoleon might not have the diving draw ability like the one from Dark Explorers, but it deals more damage, and it also has the option to just rely on the format where Aqua Patch is also around, so...
That is also true. Yeah, definitely. Definitely. 20 damage, man. 20 damage times the number of bench. Such a crazy number to hit. I mean, especially we're talking about an era where people are overbenching like crazy thanks to things like Zoroark.
Yeah, and the first turn Bridgets also help out with this a lot.
Definitely, yeah, because everybody's playing Bridget right now. There's just no way around it. Every deck, almost, well, I'd say 95% of decks are playing Bridget now, so definitely can't get around that.
Only a few niche picks like Buzzwole are relying on Brooklyn Hill and Volcanion, so all the rest are just playing Bridget, exactly.
That's right. Okay, well, I'll let you go ahead and talk about the next card here, which I believe is Abomasnow, correct?
Yeah, Abomasnow, 130 HP for Stage 1, not too shabby. It also has the Blessing of the Forest Covered Trees. Wow, that is a mouthful. That ability lets you if you evolve into Abomasnow, attach one of your water energies from the discard to one of your Pokemon. So basically, you can just, if you evolve it, attach water energy from the discard. So it's kind of like a better version of Aqua Patch because you can also attach it to the active, but you have to evolve in order to get that requirement. And its attack, don't ever use its attack. It needs like way too many energies.
Yeah, 4 energy requirement to deal 80 damage and be put to sleep. Definitely suboptimal at best.
Yeah, attachment of 4, really, 80 damage. I would rather put that on something else. And something else exactly. For water, we have Glaceon GX, the one of the more hyped cards from the set because it will shut down the format quite a bit.
Yes, it will. Yes, it will. This is another card that I'm really excited about. The evolutions in general, I've really enjoyed up to this point, and Leafeon and Glaceon have definitely upped the ante quite a bit for me. So the ability here is Freezing Gaze. As long as this Pokemon is your active, your opponent's Pokemon GX and Pokemon EX in play in their hand and in their discard pile have no abilities except for Freezing Gaze. So essentially what you have here is a Garbodor type effect, and it's only going to be on your opponent's Pokemon EX and GX in play, and also, of course, in their discard pile. So that's pretty good in shutting off their abilities. It's got a decent attack-ish. Frozen Bullet, 90 damage. It does 30 damage to one of your opponent's benched Pokemon. It's a lot like Darkrai from Dark Explorers.
Night Spear.
Night Spear, oh yeah. Those were the good days.
Yeah, those were the days where I just started, so... Whoa, reminiscing.
Same here. That's exactly right. Yeah, I started right when Darkrai was coming in too. So good attack there, and of course it's got the water typing. So anything that you play against that's trying to counter the metal, perhaps like Volcanion, you're gonna hit that for weakness as well. So that's pretty solid. And then Polar Spirit GX does 50 damage for each damage counter on your opponent's active Pokemon. You're playing this mostly for its ability. Let's just be honest there. But Frozen Bullet's pretty good too.
So the attacks are really interesting because for a single attachment of a DCE and an Aqua Patch, you can get there, and that Freezing Gaze just shuts down the entire format. Let's say you start first, Energy Evolution Eevee, boof, you can get that Freezing Gaze on your first turn, and this actually shuts down things like Tapu Lele with Wonder Tag, Zoroark with Trade, the Bloodthirsty Eyes of Lycanroc. A lot of things cannot be played anymore.
Yeah, very strong, very strong. Yeah, you can't argue with that. That's almost just, well, it's almost as bad as a turn 1 Trevenant. Almost.
There we go. I'd rather have Item Lock is definitely worse, but this it comes in close.
It does, especially because a lot of these decks now, like we were talking before, are so dependent on Bridget. Shutting off that Lele for Bridget on that first turn can be really, really detrimental to opponent's setup. All right, so what's next on the list here?
More Rotoms. Woo!
Oh, we got Wash and Frost Rotom now. So again, these are the kind of cards we were talking about before. All have the same ability, that Rotomotor ability. Rotom Wash has Water Colorless, Wash Arrow, 50 damage to one of your opponent's benched Pokemon. So it's more of a sniping type card, while Frost Rotom is 10 damage, and it does 20 more damage for each energy attached to all of your opponent's Pokemon.
Yeah, against Gardevoir, that's kind of good.
Indeed.
But yeah, talking about Gardevoir, I think it will see a decline in play with all those metal Pokemon, which we're going to talk about in a minute. So maybe Gardevoir will be going out of the top tables. We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, I think they kind of learned their lesson a little bit with Gardevoir, and this is their apology to us.
Yeah, this is like, oh no, the Gardevoir is OP, let's just make a bunch of metal support just to get rid of that. And it's going to be the same with Zoroark GX. There's going to be a lot of fighting, and the set following after that are 6 Sun and Moon set with the Buzzwole getting more hype with that Beast Ring, and also Lucario GX, but more on that later. This is Ultra Prism, so for now let's go to the Lightning types with the Shinx, which can evolve on the first turn, and this can be really crucial because Luxio is kind of good. Professor K, what does Luxio do?
Luxio brings back not so fond memories of a Pokemon from Furious Fist known as Seismitoad EX. This is basically reviving it for 1 less energy than that, and there's a lot of ways we can play this this card that will change the game a lot, I think. Disconnect does 30 damage, and your opponent can't play any item cards from their hand during their next turn for a single energy. So you're going to play that Shinx down. As long as you go second, you can evolve it into that Luxio, and since you're going second, you'll be able to disconnect that turn, shutting off item cards from your opponent. And there's so much more to the strategy than that because of Luxray. Go ahead and start talking about that guy.
Yeah, Luxray, 150 HP, which does seem a lot, but it also is getting better here because it has the Intimidating Fang. As long as this Pokemon is your active Pokemon, which most of the time will be because you want to have that item lock, you can just have your opponent deal 30 less damage to you, and that is before applying weakness and resistance. Just to put it out here, most of the times it is after applying weakness and resistance. This is before, which means things like Buzzwole, which deals Jet Punch for 30 damage, will actually deal 0 damage because it is before applying weakness and resistance. Combine that with things like the Shining Celebi. This is the premium collection box from the Shining Legends set. We have the Shining Celebi, which can allow us to use the attacks of the previous evolutions, and that will be the disconnect from Luxio in order to have that item lock while having this tanky Pokemon with 150 HP and getting that bulk reduced with 30 less damage. It's just great. It also has an attack, but I wouldn't mind using it. It also has 150 snipe if you can get 3 lightning energies attached. This could just win the game. It also has free retreat, and it has resistance to metal. What more would you like?
Yeah, this is definitely one of, I think, the better cards to play against all this metal support that's happening right now. I can't believe that damage is before weakness and resistance. That's insane. I mean, you're turning 150 HP Pokemon into so much more of a tank.
Yeah, actually, this is actually one of the first Pokemon that has the before applying weakness and resistance. If it was after, then maybe Buzzwole just could screw it up, but this is just way too good.
Yeah, absolutely. I really do like this combination quite a lot. And, you can always turn that disconnect into 60 damage with a choice band as well. So it's not even like you're chipping away super slowly. 60 damage is pretty darn good for a single energy on its own, and then just locking out items. I would hate to play against this deck. I'm not looking forward to seeing it.
Maybe, yeah, it's going to be like you're going to decide, flip a coin, heads or tails, and they're going to say, I'm going to start second. Why? Mm-hmm. And then, boom, item lock. Oh, no.
Yep. One of Seismitoad's biggest problems back in the day was if you didn't start with a double colorless energy in your hand, there's nothing really you could do if you went second. Well, now, you only need a single energy. Yeah, you're going to be getting off that item lock turn 1 faster than you normally would, I think, with Seismitoad. But, all right, let's go ahead and move on to the next card here, which is not a differently typed Rotom, but we got Rotom itself here, going along with what we were talking about before. This
120 damage, yeah.
Yeah, this one does 120 damage for 3 lightning, but it just can't attack during your next turn. So we're dealing we're dealing a decent amount of damage considering the energy cost. However, not being able to attack the next turn.
Yeah, we're one-shotting things like Ho-Oh, and also just thinking about it, this disconnect of that Luxio, now that I think about it, also hits weakness against Piplup. So if they're running the 60 HP Piplup, they also will go down.
Oh shoot, that's right. I didn't even think about that. Yeah. Wow.
Awesome. And also one lightning Pokemon I definitely a fan of is the Pachirisu. I have not talked about it before we started this video, but now that I look about it, the static generator, it has the attack here for a single lightning energy. For each of your bench Pokemon with the attack Nuzzle, search your deck for a lightning energy and attach it to that Pokemon. With things like the Pikachu, maybe Raichu GX might just steal the spotlight out of nowhere.
Oh yes, that is true. I didn't even think about that. Yeah, definitely. I like that.
Yeah, Bridget, a bunch of Pikachu, use that attack, 4 energy and play, boom, oof. Raichu will be doing damage.
Yeah, wow, that is interesting. All right, what's the next Pokemon we have here on the list? We're moving into the Psychic types now.
I think we're gonna go first with the Drifblim here. Okay. Just look at that first attack, you'll love it.
Oh, yes, okay, perfect. All right, so Drifblim here, damage transport for double colorless energy. Move 4 damage counters from each of your Pokemon to your opponent's active Pokemon. Wow.
I would love to get Flying Flip with this.
Yes, exactly. I mean, Koko isn't around as much as it was, but it's still here. And to get hit twice with a Koko and just come out of nowhere with a Drifblim or something like that, they're going to be paying for it. That's for sure.
This is also a Buzzwole counter because Buzzwole snipes for 30 damage on the bench. And with this, you can just get a DCE onto your Drifblim and say, boom, with Choice Band, go away.
Yeah, that's definitely a decent strategy there. And it does have a second attack as well. Wheel Wind, 80 damage for a Psychic double colorless. Your opponent switches their active with one of their benched, but you're mostly just going to be using damage transport if you choose to play this card.
Indeed, a 1/1 line with a DCE. Maybe you can just test it out.
Drifblim has always been such an interesting Pokemon. I feel like in the TCG, it's always had some of the craziest and most interesting attacks.
Yeah, Pokemon seem to love certain Pokemon. I just see this every time. I think they are in love with Turtonator, but they also gonna print things like Zoroark, which is gonna be OP every time. And they also love printing Darkrai and Mewtwo. You know the drill. It's Pokemon.
Oh, absolutely. And I think it's kind of funny, too, is that the mascots of our Pokemon, they seem to be in love with as well, because they can't print Greninja without printing Zoroark right after, or vice versa, because as we discussed before, the next set also is going to have a Greninja GX in it. So it's kind of interesting to see. We've had the hollow versions, we've had the break versions, we've had we had a Greninja EX, but we didn't have a Zoroark EX. And now we're getting GX versions of both of them, so that's pretty funny.
Yeah, indeed. It's going to be great to just set maybe in the background of your channel, have those GXs side to side.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. All right, what's next on the list?
I guess it's Toxicroak, the one that has the Revenge. Actually, it's not called Revenge, but it's called Settle the Score. Again for DCE, just like Drifblim. But this actually deals, if any of your fighting-type Pokemon were knocked out by damage from an attack during your opponent's last turn, you can deal 70 more damage. So with that 120 damage, you're actually dealing a huge amount of damage.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, you're talking about Buzzwole being weak to Psychic, so, I mean, obviously we've got to knock out a fighting Pokemon instead of a Psychic-type Pokemon, but that would be a lot of damage to deal back with weakness, 240 damage?
Yeah, I can see this working in maybe like the Zoroark Lycanroc variant, where you can just put in a one line of Toxicroak in order to prevent your actually deal damage against Buzzwole, because you're kind of weak to Buzzwole. Could be attack here. A little bit better than Mewtwo because you're ensuring that you're dealing a bunch of damage.
Indeed, indeed. And from what I'm seeing here, oh no, that's resistance. Okay, never mind. For a second I thought it said it didn't have weakness, but then yeah, it's resistance. All right. All right, so next Pokemon we're going to take a look here is a Prism Star card. And one thing that I noticed about these cards, and I kind of, I don't know, I wouldn't say baffled is the word, but it's really interesting to me that these Prism Star cards, for the type of card they are, and they're so different than anything else that's out there, I still can't understand why it is that the rarity on the bottom corner of the card is not a Hollow Star rarity, meaning it's an ultra rare. It's actually a solid black star rarity, giving it more of a hollow rarity than a like an ultra rare. Like even Ace Specs had the Hollow Star, giving it an ultra rare kind of rarity to it, but this one doesn't. They're just a regular black star. So I'm a little bit disappointed in the fact that they are 2 to 3 per box, and they've been given that lower rarity. It means that collectors and people that are interested in reselling cards and things like that, the Prism Stars will never be worth quite as much as I was hoping that they would be. But other than that, there are some good playability ones like Giratina here. So first of all, Prism Stars, you can only have one of the same Prism Star name in your deck. If a Prism Star card is discarded, you have to put it into the Lost Zone. So it will never go into your discard pile. It will always go into the Lost Zone, which is something more of a mechanic that was around before I got into the game, but it's a place where cards go that you just can't get them back.
Indeed, so no rescue strategy, just Giratina. Once you Sycamore away it's gone forever.
That it is. And it's got an ability called Chaotic Star. When you play this Pokemon from your hand onto your bench, you may attach 2 Psychic Energy from your hand to this Pokemon. And the attack is pretty hefty. 4 Psychic Crisis Dive, 160 damage, and discard 2 energy. So the ability, the attack itself is a little bit subpar, but the ability for energy accelerating purposes might be good later on down the line.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe with things like Lunala GX that can just move around all your psychic energies in total. So maybe you can just slap it down and get the energies to something else. Maybe you can just get a use out of that. And also I think about the Prism cards, the reason that they're not valued that much is because you only need 1 in your binder. You can't play more copies.
Yep, that's true. That is true. I don't know, it's just weird because I know Ace Specs were the same way, but they were treated more as ultra rares, so...
Indeed, and in your Booster Bugs video, you were so surprised when it wasn't the reverse love.
Yes.
What is this magic?
All right, so next up on the list here, I'm guessing it's probably going to be Lunala Star, or Prism Star, right?
Exactly. This is the same. You cannot have more than 1 Lunala Prism in your entire deck. But once you can use this guy, it's awesome because this is a basic Pokemon. You cannot think about, oh no, I need rare candy for this Lunala. No, it's a Prism card. Prism cards are always going to be basics, I assume. And this has an interesting attack here with Full Moon Star. For each of your opponent's Pokemon in play, attach a Psychic Energy from your discard pile onto your Pokemon in any way you like, and your opponent is gonna have a lot of bench space. Think about Empoleon, think about Zoroark with Righteous Beating. They're gonna fill up their bench nicely, and you're gonna say, thanks for that. We're gonna attach all your energies from the discard to our Pokemon in any way I like. Yeah.
Very nice, very nice. The attack itself, again, another big hefty cost. 4 Psychic Energy, Psystorm, 20 damage, times the amount of energy attached to all Pokemon in play.
Ooh, that could add up in certain situations with Magnezone having a bunch of energies, but then again, Dustmane Necrozma is gonna discard them, so I don't think this attack will be used for 4 energies. maybe it's going to see just more as a support Pokemon, just setting up your other Psychic types on the bench.
Yeah, definitely. That's the way I see it more than anything. But nonetheless, attacks that deal damage based on the amount of energy are always interesting as well. All right, next Pokemon we're going to look at here is... Oh, that card turned out way bigger than the Lunala did. Dawn Wings Necrozma GX. So it's got an ability, Invasion. Once during a turn before you attack, if this Pokemon is on your bench, you may switch this Pokemon with your active. So it's kind of like a Russian-style ability or stand-in the more current. I'm still stuck on Keldeo.
Keldeo with Floatstone, hooray!
Exactly. It's got an attack, Flash of Darkness, 120 damage for 3 Psychic, and it isn't affected by resistance. And its GX attack is really where it's at here for this thing. 180 damage, and the attack can only be used if you have more prize cards remaining than your opponent. Prevent all effects of attacks, including damage done to this Pokemon during your opponent's next turn. So you're going to deal a huge amount of damage, and that Pokemon is safe in the active position, given that, of course, they don't Guzma around or something like that.
Yeah, kind of similar like the Toxapex GX from Guardians Rising. Also, I think this guy with an ability here, Invasion, is coming pretty late to the party. Crimson Invasion was like the set before that.
Yes.
Also, I think this Pokemon will not see that much play because Darkness is still around with Zoroark, and Righteous Beating will just get this Pokemon in the discard faster than you can just bench it.
Yep, that weakness definitely puts a big disability on this thing. It's not going to be all that strong with a darkness weakness like that.
Even though the ability is interesting, we also saw that Keldeo at the time that it was printed saw a huge amount of play, even in decks that does not rely on the typing that it had. So maybe we can just see it, but Zoroark is just too prominent in the format right now, so I think this card won't be seeing that much play.
Yep, it might be a little bit before we see it. All right, so next up, we're moving on to the fighting Pokemon now.
Yeah, Fossils around with Rampardos with 150 HP and the first attack. Wow, Professor K, just look at it.
Fighting Energy, clean hit, 60 damage. Your opponent's active Pokemon is an evolved Pokemon. It does 60 more. Whew. 120 damage for 1, and that could be a strong energy, making it into 140.
And then a Choice Band, and Lele is gone.
Yeah, 170.
Oh, no. That does not work because Lele is not an evolved. It would have been better. Too bad.
Oh, yeah, true.
But
that is true.
No worries here, because if you're facing a basic Pokemon, you always have Wild Bomber here, which just pretty much destroys them.
If your opponent's active as a basic, it's knocked out. Oh, yes.
Thinking about the takeout of Machamp in the Stormfront era, that was in 2009, I believe, so that is just crazy. Just knocking out things without precaution here, just poof, it's gone. It's definitely great. It needs 3 fighting energies to do that, so a little bit harsh, but once you can get it, just things like Volcanion will go down every single turn.
You can get this thing out really quickly, too, using that fossil card, Mysterious Fossil, and using Rare Candy on it.
Yeah, the fossils nowadays do get a little bit more love, because now you can use Rare Candy on a fossil, while in the previous fossils you just had to do some weird shenanigans with the bottom of your deck and stuff that did not work at all, so...
Yeah, they're bringing back a little bit of playability to these fossil Pokemon, which have been underrated and overlooked for far too long.
Exactly. I'm hoping that Armaldo, or how is it called? The Cradilly, I guess?
Oh, Cradilly, yeah.
Cradilly, yeah. I hope these are going to be great. Maybe going to see Fossil GXs would be awesome.
I agree 100%. All right, well, let's move on to our next one here. We've got Lucario. Lucario is such a cool Pokemon. I'm very excited for this one. It's got an ability called Auracite. Once during your turn, before your attack, if you have Garchomp in play, you may search your deck for 1 card and put it into your hand, then shuffle your deck. So the ability is really the main purpose of this, and that purpose is going to search out, well, Cynthia.
Exactly, because there's going to be like a deck where you can just rely on Cynthia, and then Garchomp is able to deal 200 damage for 2 attachments. So Lucario and Garchomp are going to work together here with the Cynthia championship deck. So it's going to be great to see that in action, because we do have the fighting type at our advantage, and also the Garchomp is a dragon type, which is not hitting for weakness but is weak to Fairy, and since Fairy is going to see a decline in play, it's a great weakness to have.
Yes, I think so, quite a bit. And the attack isn't so bad either. Fighting a Colossus for 70 isn't the worst thing in the world. Exactly.
With a strong energy and a choice band, you can get the numbers.
That's right. All right, moving down the list.
First list, I want to talk about Hippopotas, or Hippopotas, yeah. Look at that Pokemon.
Sandtomb, 50 damage. Opponent's Pokemon can't...
No.
Can't retreat. Oh,
not this one. The one, the basic one. Look at that.
Oh, the Hippopotas! Oh my gosh! Yeah, sometimes you just see Pokemon and you overlook their basic and just go straight to the stage 1. Okay. Oh yeah, I actually faced somebody who was in pre-release running this card, and he was just trying to mill his deck down. That's too funny. Fighting double colorless, last ditch tackle, 50 damage. You have 3 or fewer cards left in your deck. It does 130 more damage.
What?
That is crazy.
I did not know what they were drinking at that time, but making a basic with that attack is just hilarious.
That it is. Wow.
How does a Hippopotamus deal that much damage?
I don't think it's ever happened before. That's for sure.
Yeah, the Hippowdon is just not good, but this basic Pokemon is definitely interesting.
Yeah, I like that a lot. It's pretty comical.
And now to your boy, the Simeon.
Yep, there it is right there. So, Passimian, yes, basic Pokemon, 110 HP, and this is going to help out its other brethren. Ability is Power Scrum. As long as this Pokemon is on your bench, each of your Passimians attacks do 30 more damage to your opponent's active evolved Pokemon. So, that's going to help out team play quite a bit.
Yeah, team play deals 10 damage and then 30 for each of your bench Passimian. Let's say 2 of those are bench Passimian, the one from the Ultra Prism set. You're actually dealing 90 more damage, and then yeah, you're actually dealing a bunch of damage here. If you have another Passimian out with a choice band and a strong energy, you can definitely get numbers here, which can result into 1-hit KO. So Passimian, not too bad.
Not too bad at all, especially in a format now where everything is evolved. There's very few basics that are played that are relevant.
Indeed, and the good thing that Passimian has going for it is that it hits for weakness against Zoroark GX. That is already a good thing to make it back into the competitive scene.
Yeah, it would not take much for Passimian to knock out a Zoroark with this Passimian as well.
Yeah, only a choice band and a DC, and you're good.
Something else. All right, well, Dark Pokemon, so what's next?
Weavile.
All right, go ahead and start talking about that guy.
Yeah, Weavile. It has the Icy Wind, dealing 10 damage. Your opponent is now asleep. Not going to use that at all. We're going to go for the Dark Command for a single Darkness energy, dealing 50 damage times the number of your opponent's Pokemon with abilities. Wow, think about this. You're facing a Zoroark Lycanroc deck, and they are going to have a Tapu Lele out because they want to bridge it. They're going to have 2 trades out with the ability Trade, of course, and they're going to use the Lycanroc to just target something. Well, they already have 4 abilities in play with a Choice Band. Boom, this Weavile comes in and destroys everything. I am really a big fan of Weavile. We already seen a Weavile and Burning Shadows as well, which actually deals 60 damage with Rule of Evil to everything that has an ability. So you can have a split line between Weavile, this one, and the one from Burning Shadows to have yourself a fun little Weavile deck together with Espeon EX to devolve everything.
Yeah, I do really like the fact that the Weaviles, the past 2 Weaviles have been things to mess with abilities, since abilities have kind of been running rampant lately. So that is an interesting attack for sure. All right, so next up, we've got Darkrai Prism Star. We may as well talk about that a little bit as well. The ability is Nightmare Star. When you play this Pokemon from your hand onto your bench, you may attach 2 Dark Energy from your hand to this Pokemon, and its only attack here is Abyssal Sleep. 120 damage, your opponent's active Pokemon is now asleep, and your opponent flips 2 coins instead of 1 between turns. If either of them is tails, that Pokemon remains asleep.
25%. That is not a lot.
No, it is not. And even though that is a pretty overwhelming amount of energy, if you pull it off, it definitely will help out your odds of winning that game quite a bit.
Indeed, late game end together with this Abyssal Sleep, poof, and they are going to have to rely on the top deck.
Yeah, and since that ability does put 2 Dark Pokemon from your hand onto the Pokemon, it essentially just kind of turns it into just a 2-cost attack, so it's not the worst.
Maybe an expanded with Dark Patch and Darkrai EX and all these shenanigans with Darkrai GX as well. You can get a ton of Darkness energies into play and maybe go for huge numbers here.
Potentially, yeah, absolutely.
Only downside is weak to fighting. I don't like Pokemon that are weak to fighting nowadays because, yeah, half of the meta is running Buzzwole, so...
Yeah, they have definitely evened out the playing field as opposed to the days where Dark Pokemon just ran rampant with really nothing to oppose them. All right, yeah. So
now we have the Super Saiyan 3 variant of Dugtrio, Alolan Dugtrio, and it has the... Yeah, I just had to mention that. Look at this picture, man. He's ready for war. And this is an interesting attack. Gold Rush for 0 energies. Discard as many metal energies from your hand as you like, and then you deal 30 damage for each energy discarded. For 0 energies, together with Mount Cornered, which we're going to feature later on the video. This is going to be an interesting Pokemon to attack for, 0 energies and just get the pressure going early game. But the bad thing is it only has 60 HP. Wow.
Oh, wow, that is a very, very low amount of HP. That is surprising.
So you're telling me Piplup has more HP than an Alolan Dugtrio?
Oh, man. And that attack is very reminiscent of Bronzong as well, that Bronzong break. Very similar.
Yeah, indeed. And now we're going to see some more metal support here. We have the Magnezone line. We have a bunch of Magnemites, which the only thing you're interested in here is the one with the ability Hard Unit. If this Pokemon is on your bench, it takes no damage from attacks, so against Buzzwole, against Flying Flip, against all those shenanigans, it won't work, but the abilities from Decidueye will still go through, which is unfortunate because Decidueye will be seeing a huge amount of play as well, so Magnemite. Yep. If you're playing Magnemite, you can also have that variant from the Breakthrough set with the one that has Free Retreat if you have an other Magnemite on the bench, so you have the options available to you.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of Magnemite choices now, that's for sure.
And then it evolves to Magnezone. Go!
There we go. Yeah, Magnezone. So this is, this is a different typing, but the exact same ability as the Lightning one from Breakthrough, I believe. Magnetic Circuit. As often as you like during your turn before you attack, you may attach a metal energy from your hand to one of your Pokemon. So it's that same Magnezone, except for you get to attach metal instead of lightning. And of course, we all remember Blastoise being the original version of this type of ability as well.
Deluge.
That's right. And the attack is 130 damage for 3 metal and a colorless. Can't use Zap Cannon during your next turn. I wouldn't want to anyway.
Yeah, it's probably going to see the discard after that, although it has 150 HP, which is 10 more than the counterpart in the Breakthrough set. So at least it has 10 more HP because it became metal.
Yes. All right. What's next?
The other fossil Pokemon, we have Bastiodon, and this is interesting. If you don't like playing against Xurkitree GX because the ability shuts you down, you're not gonna love this because this ability actually prevents all damage done to your Metal-type Pokemon from the attacks of your opponent with any special energy attached to them. So all of your Pokemon, all of your Metal Pokemon are safe from things like, things with a DCE, things with a strong energy, things with a splash energy, and etc. So, wow.
Yeah, very, very nice. It's Aegislash on steroids.
Exactly. And Aegislash definitely saw a huge amount of play, as well as Xurkitree. Xurkitree has seen a bunch of play in some niche decks like Heatmor Raichu and the Wishy-Washy Stall deck. So it definitely seen a bit of relevance here. And with this ability, all of your Pokemon cannot get hit by Righteous Beating if they have the DCE equipped to their Zoroark. So at least that is definitely great.
All right, very nice, very nice. Let's see here. What is next down the list?
I guess it's going to be Solgaleo Prism. We also have a Heatran, but it's not too relevant. It's just a one-price attacker that deals 130 damage. You could include it if you want to, but we're not going to waste too much time on it.
Yeah, definitely not. So, okay, Solgaleo Prism Star, Rising Star, first attack metal. For each of your opponent's Pokemon in play, attach a metal energy from your discard pile to your Pokemon in any way you like. And the main attack here, 160 damage for 4 metal. Corona Impact. This Pokemon can attack during your next turn.
I adore this card so much. It has all the things that it needs. It has metal support in a deck. You can get this as your late game Pokemon to get all the energies from your discard back. And it also has the ability, actually the attack, with a choice band to one-shot Lele. So this is great. This is just a great Pokemon all around.
Definitely. I like it quite a bit as well.
It also has the Duskmane Necrozma GX in its deck, and this Duskmane Necrozma will see a huge amount of play together with the Magnezone we talked about earlier, because this guy has the Meteor Tempest, its second attack. Don't worry about his first attack, you're not going to be doing damage for it at all, so 3 attachment first attack, not going to bother too much on that, but Meteor Tempest, 220 damage. That is the most relevant number I've seen so far on these GXs, so one-shotting everything, that's how it goes.
Discard 3 energy from this Pokemon, and, well, you just find ways to get it back. You know, there's that card we just talked about. That helps quite a bit. All right, we also have GX attack here. 3 metal energy, 250 damage for Sun's Eclipse GX. You can only use this attack. You can use attack only if you have more prize cards remaining than your opponent. So even if you do happen to fall behind a little bit, 250, major numbers. Even if you're just 1 energy shy of being able to use Meteor Tempest, you can always use Sun's Eclipse GX as long as you're behind.
Yeah, just promote your Solgaleo Prism card, let it die, because that way you are falling behind in price card, you set your board up with a bunch of energies, and boom, Sun Eclipse GX comes out of nowhere, and you can just destroy anything you want. 250 is just destroying everything. Let's just face that.
Yes, no doubt about that whatsoever. All right, so next card.
The last metal of the list, it is Magearna. Magearna. I think his ability is called a little bit different in English. I think it's change clothes or something. But once during
like
yeah, it's not red dress or whatever it's called here, but does not even matter too much. The ability is the exact same thing. Once during your turn, before you attack, you may return a Pokemon tool card attached to one of your Pokemon to your hand. Wow. This is just like Genesect EX, but then way better because you have total control. Think you're playing a Silvally GX deck, and you're having your Silvally. Oh no, I equipped the wrong memory. No problem here. Swapping around your tool cards and you're good. Also getting your Float Zone off to one of your Pokemon because you're stuck in the active position has never been so easy with Magearna.
Absolutely, and that attack is, that ability is called Change Clothes. I just looked at it in my binder.
Oh yeah, I thought it was something like that because I did not, did not spark a familiar thing in my head like, oh, red dress, never seen that before.
Yeah, that is definitely...
or actually, it's redress, yeah.
Redress, yes, redress, indeed. All right, so next up here, we've got the Shiinotic, which is just a alternate typing for that ability, Illuminate. Once during your turn, before you attack me, search your deck for a fairy Pokemon, reveal it, and put it into your hand, then shuffle your deck. So the other one is Grass, where you can search out Grass-type Pokemon, and this one does it for fairies.
Yeah, maybe people are gonna decline the play of Gardevoir GX, and instead of playing Sylveon GX, maybe you can try out Shiinotic. You can get them every single turn, so maybe then they can rely on early game pressure with Infinite Force. I don't know, maybe it could be the case.
Could be, could be. All right, so go ahead and start talking about Tapu Lele.
This is an amazing card, and why is that? We talked about the Weavile before. We have a Weavile from Burning Shadows, actually dealing 60 damage to everything with an ability. With this, you can have this magical swap, move any number of damage counters on your opponent's Pokemon to other Pokemon in any way you like. Also pairs really well with things like Necrozma GX, dealing 100 on every GX. And we're gonna play this type of copy here with Counter Energy to just cover the energy cost here. With Counter Energy, just get that late game magical swap to win the game.
Yeah, definitely exciting card to come to the format, and it's going to be even better when we see that Psychic one come in play. And depending on what they do, if they choose to allow it to stay in the format or not and expanded, that could be really, really, really good, given the fact that we have access to Dimension Valley.
Ooh, yeah, that one can attack for like 1 energy then.
Yes, only 1 energy, so it's definitely a force to be reckoned with there. All right, so moving on down the line, I'm guessing we're probably going to jump straight over to the Garchomp line.
Yeah, because the Alolan Executor is never going to see play anyhow. We have the Alolan Executor with the free attack. For each Execute on your bench, search your deck for an Alolan Executor or Alolan Executor GX and put it onto that Execute. But let's face it, you're going to waste an attack. You're going to set up your bench with Alolan Executors, and they're not going to do too much because you need Venusaur in order to get Alolan Executor working. So let's just skip it and go to Garchomp. Professor K, why is Garchomp so good?
All right, so first and foremost, let's just appreciate the fact that there is a Gibble in the set. Not the very first one up above, but there's the Hide and Rocks Gibble here. If it has any fighting energy attached to it, the retreat cost is 0, so that's pretty good. But the one above it, the one above it is the more relevant one. That's what I'm talking about. This one has Ascension. For fighting energy, search your deck for a card that evolves from this Pokemon and put it onto this Pokemon. It counts as evolving. Then shuffle your deck so you can go straight into Gabite. If you don't have a way to get into Garchomp, you can always just Ascension straight into this. And this card also has Ascension as well. Search for a card that evolves and go straight into Garchomp.
So they're evolving from their self. Wow.
Yeah, 2 in a row. And why is Garchomp so good? Well, it's got some really interesting attacks here. Even if you can't pull off the Champion's Blade, Quick Dive in and of itself is not that bad for a double colorless energy. Doing 50 damage to one of your opponent's Pokemon, you can just snipe around big, heavy retreat Pokemon. If you can get something in the active that is something that's got like 3-4 retreat cost and force them to get out of the active. If they can't, you can just snipe around it and really mess up their game, that's for sure. Champion's Blade for fighting and double colorless energy does 100 damage, but if you played Cynthia from your hand this turn, it does 100 more damage. So if you're playing this with Lucario, you can use Lucario's ability, search out that Cynthia, and Champion's Blade does 200 damage consistently.
Yeah, with a choice band, boom, that will one-shot everything. And also thinking about it, this Garchomp will presumably get a fighting type in the next set. So having that fighting type Garchomp will help it out a ton, because then you can start playing with strong energies, and then you don't even need your choice band anymore, and you're good. So this is definitely gonna see more play down the line, definitely when the fighting type Garchomp is released. And this guy also has free retreat cost.
Yes, it does. Free retreat as well, so there's really nothing more you could ask for out of this card. I mean, it's about time we see a Garchomp that really actually has a chance to break into the meta, where it's always kind of been on the edge of the meta in the past.
Indeed, it's been since the ages of the Platinum set, where we have that Garchomp C-Level X, where Garchomp just was everywhere. Maybe we can see the exact same thing here.
Yeah, I know. There was that the Dragon's Exalted one, too, as well, that almost made it.
Yeah, almost, with Altaria, I believe.
Yep, that's it. All right, so next up.
It's the Dialga GX.
Okay,
it's not a metal type here. It's a dragon type, but it needs metal energy, so I guess we're fine with it. It can let you draw cards until you have 6 in the hand, so you can use, I guess, Lily with his attack, with his clock up, with the first attack. If you're dead drawing, maybe it could work out, but for a GX, I wouldn't recommend it. It also has the Shred, 80 damage. This attack isn't affected by any effects of your opponent's attacks. So I do think this includes things like Hoopa with the ability, so we can hit through Hoopas from Shining Legends. At least that is interesting. It also has the Timeless GX. This is where it's at. Let's just turn around the clock. Professor K, what does Timeless GX do?
Timeless GX, 150 damage until this, or once this turn is over, it's your turn again. So you're going to use that GX attack for 150 and turn around and have a whole nother turn to do something else on top of that.
Wow. Just a little quick question. Let's say you play a Pokemon Ranger down. What would happen?
Huh. That is interesting. Huh,
it's kind of something I think about, because you're just gonna use the effect, you're gonna attack, and if you play a Ranger down, is it then the opponent's turn again, or does the effect just go away after your turn because it's another one of your turns?
Wow, that is interesting. That's a good question for the rules team over there, Pokepop, for instance. Yeah, that's a tough one. I don't know which way that one would go.
And also another question. Let's say the judges call time. Do you have 3 turns? Does it go 1, 2, 3, or is it going to be 1, 1, 2, and you get 2 turns?
That's true, because it's a whole nother turn. Does that mean that you're turn 0 and then also turn 1?
A lot of questions with Timeless GX, so definitely maybe an inclusion in a Magnezone Dustmane Necrozma deck just to get this Timeless GX going, and you can just attack twice, and even though you're gonna have a bunch of energies on your Dialga GX, it does not even matter, because if you retreat, you're retreating for 3 energies, then you can use Mount Coronet, get those energies back in the hand, and just attack with something else. So I'm definitely seeing potential in Dialga GX.
Yeah, definitely more than I originally thought of. That's pretty good. All right, so next up here, I'll let you go ahead and talk about Palkia GX.
Palkia GX, like its counter brother here with Dialga, it's also a dragon type, but nevertheless they are going to come out as presumably a water type Palkia GX and a metal type Dialga GX, following maybe a collection box or a future set. But this Palkia GX, in my opinion, is not very good. Definitely the dragon type version, because you cannot rely on things like Aqua Patch, and you need way too many energies to get it going. Its first attack can move energies from the bench to this Pokemon, so at least you can use a bunch of Aqua Patches on your water types and just get all the energies to it with its attack. But then you leave yourself open for an attack, and with 180 HP and the format being so crazy as it is, it will definitely get a bunch of damage on it. So is it worth getting all those energies attached to him? I don't know. Also, the Hydro Pressure deals 60 damage, and that deals 20 more for each water energy attached to this Pokemon. So let's say Blastoise gets reprinted, maybe we can see some play with the Deluge ability, but for now, I don't think this will see any type of play. But it does have an interesting GX move, Zero Vanish GX, which lets you deal 150 damage, and your opponent has to shuffle all of their energy cards back into their deck that they have equipped. Whoa.
Yeah, that is pretty devastating right there, getting an attack like that off. I mean, I definitely think it's worthwhile if you can pull it off, but holy cow, that is... yeah, imagine doing that at the end of a game where everything's all powered up for your opponent, they think they've got the game, and you just Zero Vanish GX. Whew.
And even though it's weak to Fairy, let's say Gardevoir has like 6 energies in play, then a DCE on one of their Gallades and stuff, you just come in with your Palkia, get rid of all the energies, and then you're using something like N, and they're gonna say, "Oh no."
Yeah, especially if they're ahead in the game as well. Wow, yeah, that could be devastating for sure. All right, next Pokemon we're going to take a look at here. Now that we've gotten through the Dragon ones, we're into our colorless typing Pokemon. And there's an Eevee here that's kind of interesting. We were talking about this one right before the video. Friend's Palette is the name of the attack for it. Double colorless, 10 damage, and it does 10 more damage for each different type of Pokemon on the bench.
This could be interesting with the Xerneas Rainbow Road, since you do plan on playing multi-types. And you do plan DCE, running DCE in this deck, so maybe you can just have this one prize attacker, even though Xerneas is also a one prize attacker. But if you have a bunch of different types, you can just come in with your Eevee and smack around, maybe.
Yeah, and a lot of problems with that deck is, you know, they have problems getting the energy going, and sometimes you just run out of Xerneas too, so it's a nice little Pokemon to put in that filler slot for a turn. All right. Next up, I guess we got the Fan Rotom. That's the last Rotom to take a look at.
Yeah, colorless type, which will be hitting weakness against, oh yeah, nothing.
Nothing. Oh, man.
But it does deal 20 damage to each of your opponent's Pokemon, so it kind of like has that flying flip, and it also has free retreat, so it wants to be the Tapu Koko, but it couldn't be without the ability, so...
Yeah, that's the only time it's better than Coco's, if you have those 9 tool cards in the discard pile.
So maybe with Gourgeist, you could put all the tool cards in the discard and then just finish the game with a bunch of snipes. I don't know.
Perhaps.
Things could happen.
Hey, you know what? There was a game one time that I was playing. I was playing a Golisopod deck. I had to flying flip 9 turns in a row, and I won the game because my opponent ended up dead drawing as well. So it can be a game winner thing.
And spreading damage, now that I think about it, if you spread that much damage and you have a counter energy on your Tapu Lele, the one from the set here, you can just rearrange all those damage counters. Maybe you could see a niche play in the TCG online match and you're saying like, who the hell plays this? And it happens.
Oh man, that'd be fun just for the memes.
Just for the memes, exactly.
All right, so what's up next here?
I think it's Oranguru or Oranguru. I don't know how you pronounce that, but in Europe, I always call it Oranguru.
I believe it is Oranguru, but for some reason, at least here in the States, on this part of the world, everyone seems to say Oranguru. But yes, Oranguru does sound better because it's like the orange and guru kind of thing. Or the orangutan. Orangutan, I mean, not orange, orangutan. Oh my gosh, why did I say orange? Yeah, orangutan. Orangutan, why did I say orange?
Who knows?
Oh my goodness.
Talking about the Oranguru or Oranguru, whatever you want to call this guy, it has the resource management. Put 3 cards from the discard pile on the bottom of your deck. So in theory, if you are running low on your Guzmas or your DCEs, you can put them all on the bottom of your deck.
And then you can also use a card that we're going to talk about a little bit later on as well. But Looker gets those cards right off the bottom of your deck. Yeah,
indeed. And it does have 120 HP, so maybe it could stick around for a turn. And you can just start getting your resources back in your deck.
If only it was ability.
If only. It would have been OP.
Indeed.
Yeah. We also have a new type null here. This type null is a little bit more aggressive than the other one. The one from Crimson Invasion deals 30 damage and reduces the damage for your opponent's next turn done to type null by 30. But this one deals 30 damage plus 30 more if the opponent's active Pokemon already has damage counters on it. So a little bit more aggressive, I guess.
Yes, and this is a non-holo rare, whereas before the type null in the previous set was a holo, so it's a little bit easier to obtain as well.
Yeah, exactly. More chances.
I do have to say, though, I'm a little surprised that they reprinted Silvally GX so quickly.
Yeah, this came out of nowhere. Like the set before that also had Silvally. I think if they want to reprint GXs, in my opinion, they at least have to wait like 1 or 2 sets, because sometimes a set will then rotate out and Silvally will still be legal. But in this situation, I don't even know what to think about it.
Yeah, I mean, I have some speculations already that I feel like not the announcement coming up that will happen in this July, but when they announce the rotation for the next year after that, in July 2019, they'll announce it. I think that it's going to be Ultra Prism on, which is the only reason I could see Silvally sticking around.
Yeah, maybe that could be the case, but I do think they always have the rotation with 3 sets, but we will have to wait and see, I guess.
Yes. All right. I think that's it for Pokemon, right? I don't think we have anything to say about Drampa.
not really. The only thing about Drampa is that Zoroark deals 120 damage, which is not 130 damage, and you can use Outrage, but you cannot get the one-hit KO, so it does not even matter. It also hits nothing for weakness, so let's just skip Drampa.
Yeah, very true, very true. Okay, we'll skip the Ancient Crystal. Cynthia is the trainer of the set, without a doubt.
The card to get, because as soon as we are September, the End will finally rotate out of the standard format, and everybody is going to rely on draw support Cynthia to replace End. It's not as good as End, but in theory, you can even replace this with your Sycamore currently in your deck, because unless you shuffle your hand into your deck and draw 6 cards, if you're having a deck that you don't want to discard anything, Cynthia will be your main card to use.
Yes, absolutely. This is word for word Professor Oak's new theory, just in reprinted fashion, and slap Cynthia on it. Gotta love
Pumped is back. Yeah,
that is right.
Indeed.
That is right.
Oh, the times. Oh, her Gold Soul Silver.
Good stuff.
Used to love that format. But talking about supporters, we have one of the supporters that is a Prism card, and it also got a radar just today because Pokemon actually decided to mistranslate this for some reason, just like they did in the Neo Genesis phase, where they did it with Slowking. This Cyrus has been printed as it can be used if you have a water or metal Pokemon in play. That is not correct at all. You have to have it as the active position, and they already have an official errata for this card already. So even though your card currently says that you can use it if you have one of your water Pokemon or metal Pokemon in play, it has to be active.
Yep, just like playing old copies of Pokemon Catcher that don't mention the coin flip. Now you're going to have to deal with the fact that even though the card may say what it does, you're going to have to make sure it's in the active position for it to actually work.
Exactly, and once you have one of those Pokemon in the active slot, think about your Vulpix, Alolan Vulpix, or maybe your a metal type Pokemon like Registeel, or maybe a metal deck on itself like Duskmane Necrozma. What is the effect that it does?
Your opponent chooses 2 of their benched Pokemon, then shuffles their other benched Pokemon and all cards attached to them into their deck. So they're getting rid of everything except for whatever's left after they pick 2 of them up, I guess. I'm sorry, all they have left is 2, and they pick up the rest of them. That's what it is.
Wow, if you combine that with Leafeon GX's plea, you just get rid of the entire bench. The only downside is that if this was printed, at first I thought, wow, in play you can just bench something like an Octillery and you can get it going. But now you have to have that water type Pokemon or metal type Pokemon in the active position, but it's still manageable. Let's say you have Octillery in the active position. You can just give a Flowstone to your Octillery, use the Cyrus Prism card, the opponent selects 2 Pokemon that they keep, all the rest go in the deck, they get shuffled into their deck. Then you retreat your Octillery, go with the Leafeon GX from the Guardians Rising set, and just use Plea GX, and out of nowhere, the opponent has no bench Pokemon at all. The entire bench has been wiped clean, but those last 2 go to the hand, so they can bench them immediately, but all their energy will be gone, which is awesome.
Yes, very, very disruptive, very disruptive.
Indeed, and in disruptive deck, this will be your main copy.
Yes, absolutely. We also have a couple of memory cards here. I'm just going to group them together since they're the same exact thing. We now have 2 more additions to Silvally GX, giving it lightning typing and fire typing based on whichever tool card you attach to it. So electric memory and fire memory both give those alternate typings to Silvally.
Lightning type will be huge to just destroy Empoleon entirely, and the fire type is just amazing against things like Leafeon, against Duskmane Necrozma. So Silvally might just see a comeback here, even though Silvally is still good. It has been seen a decline in play because it's weak to fighting, but with those memories, it could see back its spot in the top tables.
Yes, perhaps it can, that's for sure. And we got a skateboard here, which is kind of interesting as well. If you attach this to one of your Pokemon, the retreat cost is 1 colorless energy less, and it can also retreat while asleep or paralyzed, which is pretty interesting. I think it's kind of a neat card.
Indeed. Talking about that Heatmore Raichu deck I talked about earlier, where they are having you in an infinite paralyzation lock. With this, you can get out of there with your skateboard, I guess.
If you happen to play it, yes.
Or in the pre-release if you're facing something like the Electivire.
Yes, I did actually have to do that. I forget which. It wasn't against an Electivire. There was another Pokemon that put me to sleep. I think it was Manaphy, actually.
Could be the case, but for pre-releases it's fun, but the special condition, the paralyzation and asleep have not seen that much impact in the competitive scene since Guzma is around.
Yes, Definitely, and it was the Manaphy. I'm looking at it now. Water Pulse, 20 damage, and it puts you to sleep. How was it caught in a cycle of Manaphy Water Pulse for like 4 or 5 turns in pre-release? It was really funny.
That is hilarious.
All right. So, next supporter we have here, Gardenia, is a brand new supporter as well. Heal 80 damage from one of your Pokemon with any grass energy attached to it. Could work fairly well, considering that we've got Leafeon to heal damage as it is.
Yeah, indeed. Leafeon GX with Gardenia. I actually forgot to mention that in my episode. I actually said Pokemon Center Lady could be the case, but this would be way better. 20 more damage I can heal.
Absolutely.
Interesting.
Yep, we also have our Lily reprint as well. You guys already know what Lily does by now. And
the artwork is just outstanding for the new Lily. Just to put it out there.
Oh, yes. I completely agree. Especially that full art. I'm very glad to say that I already have my full art, and it is amazing.
Congrats, man. Congrats.
Thank you. As we mentioned earlier with Oranguru, we have Looker that could potentially help that little draw engine here, drawing 3 cards from the bottom of your deck. And we also have a way to look for it as well with the next card.
It's way better than Haw.
Yeah, definitely way better than How. Everything is better than How.
Except for the full art version of How.
You know what? That's true. That is true. We also have this item card here, Looker's Whistle. Search your deck for up to 2 Looker cards, reveal them, put them into your hand, and shuffle your deck. So you can also get your Looker cards out that way, too.
Why would you need 2?
That's a good question.
Yeah, because they're going to end you straight after that, so I don't know why you need 2.
I'm not sure. All right, I'll let you talk about Mars.
Yeah, Mars. Go back to the Diamond and Pearl era. This is one of the galactic leaders and draws 2 cards, and then you can discard a random card from your opponent's hand. I always love to do the discarding of random cards because the look on the opponent's face when you pick the correct card, there's like, oh yes.
That's right.
This could be disruptive in things like Sylveon GX or Wishy Washy GX stall decks. Could be interesting.
Definitely.
And now, the missing Clover. Talk about it, Professor K. This is gonna be huge. Or is it?
Yeah. It's a very interesting card. We'll just say that much anyway. You can play either 1 missing Clover or 4 at the same time. If you play 1, look at the top card of your deck and return it to the top. But if you play 4 of them, miraculously somehow having them all in your hand at the same time, you take a prize card.
Wow. Huh.
If you could pull it off, great.
Is there a tool card or something that could just put item cards back in the deck? Then maybe I could see this working, but it's just way too crazy. If one of them is priced, they'll either have to rely on Glaceon, and if 2 of them are priced, you can just scoop. This strategy will never work.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
And now, let's go to the mountain, the Mount Coronet. And this will be played in every metal deck that plays with Magnezone, because you can get back your metal energies from the discard. Actually, you can get 2 of them into your hand directly if you decide on using Mount Coronet during that turn.
Yeah, this card is, wow. It's as if the above cards we spoke about earlier for metal Pokemon weren't good enough. This just seals the deal. This is Mount Busted Metal.
This is the mountain that Magnezone always dreamed of, and Duskmane Necrozma makes good use of that because it discards energies. You can get the energy straight back, so we have on paper this looks perfect. In theory, we'll have to wait and see, but it definitely is going to work because the strategy is just open-minded. It's just there.
Absolutely. All right. I don't think Order Pad is going to be too much of a relevant.
No.
An item card from an item card doesn't sound good, especially when you have to flip for it. What do you think about Palpad, though?
Palpad. This was released in Flashfire, if I recall, but did not see play at all because VS Seeker was around at that time as well with the Phantom Forces, I believe. So VS Seeker was huge, getting 1 supporter out of your discard into your hand directly. But now that we have Tapu Lele, I think Palpad definitely deserves 1 spot in your deck because you can shuffle 2 supporters from your discard pile into your deck. And with things like Tapu Lele, you can get them out immediately. Or if you decide on playing something like Zoroark, you can just use trade. Oh, it's here.
Yeah, exactly. I definitely agree with you. I feel like a 1 spot in most decks is definitely worthwhile for the Palpad.
Exactly, because you can just get your supporters that you definitely want early game. You just get rid of stuff that you don't want, and then you just know, oh, I have the Palpad. But thinking about it, we also have Puzzles of Time to get back stuff. So maybe in decks with Puzzle of Time it does not work. With Palpad, you can definitely run it in Cynthia's list with the Garchomp and Lucario. This will work out pretty well to get your Cynthias back turn after turn.
Definitely. Yeah, this is definitely a big thing in that deck. All right, next up we have Pokemon Fan Club getting a reprint here. Search your deck for up to 2 basic Pokemon, reveal them, put them into your hand, and then shuffle your deck. Love the artwork on this card.
Yeah, indeed, and also the full art will be amazing. That we're gonna check out later. We're almost done with this video, so here we have the Pokemon Fan Club. As you mentioned, is like a lower down Bridget. But once Bridget rotates, people will grab to that Pokemon Fan Club, I guess.
Definitely. Now, Unidentified Fossil, this is what we were talking about earlier, as far as being able to play Rare Candy onto this to evolve it into either Rampardos or Bastiodon. It is treated as a 60 HP Pokemon, 60 HP colorless basic Pokemon, and you can discard it at any time, much reminiscent of the Robo Substitute card. However, if you knock out this card, you get to take a prize card because it does not say you do not, like Robo Substitute, and this card cannot retreat, but you can discard it from play, like I said, so I guess that's the only way you're really going to retreat out of it.
Oh, I see. So there's a lot of things that just scratch my mind here. It has acted as a basic Pokemon, but in your opening hand, you cannot even put it in the active position. So you'll have to play a lot more basic Pokemon. Otherwise, you will have a bunch of mulligans in your Fossil deck. But the good news is you can evolve thanks to Rare Candy. You can Wally this Fossil up. You can do all sorts of stuff. You can even use Max Elixir on this basic Fossil.
Indeed, that you can. All right, so Volkner, this is a pretty cool card.
Minato from Naruto is back.
Jeez.
Just look at him.
Oh man. Yep. That's it.
Anime,
you nailed it. This is
anime
the
jokes
lightning,
like.
the lightning version of Karina.
Yeah, indeed, it is.
So
and since lightning, yes.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was saying like the lightning Pokemon. There's been a while since there's gonna be it was a great lightning deck around. Nowadays, lightning is like dead. You can have that Vikavolt that can attack for lightning, but it is still a Tapu Bulu deck. But a huge lightning deck. It's been a while since we've seen that, but maybe with Volkner, we might just breathe some air. Maybe this could work with the luxury deck we talked about. So getting yourself that lightning energy in order to use Disconnect, and also getting yourself the item of choice.
Yeah, and that item card could potentially be the Ultra Ball to search out that shining Celebi.
Exactly.
All right, we have our final Prism card here, Super Boost Energy. This is a special energy card. This is a very detailed card. So it provides colorless energy, but while it's attached to Stage 2 Pokemon, it provides every type of energy, but only provides one at a time. So when it's attached to a single Stage 2 Pokemon, it provides basically a rainbow energy. Otherwise, it provides colorless energy, but then while it's attached to a Stage 2 Pokemon, if you have 3 or more Stage 2 Pokemon in play, instead it provides every type of energy, but only 4 energy at a time.
Wow, this is a quad rainbow energy for Stage 2s, I guess.
Yeah, it is, but you have to have 3 or more to get that quad effect. Otherwise, it's just a rainbow energy or a colorless energy, depending on how else you play it.
I see, but it's only one copy in the deck, so maybe you can just splash it in if you do plan on playing Stage 2s, but only in Stage 2s where you can have multiple Stage 2s out, like things like the Decidueye. I could see this working with the Decidueye GX if you have 3 of them out. I could see this working in Gardevoir once you have 2 Gardevoir GXs and a Gallade out. So in these type of decks, maybe one copy. And just thinking about it, if you equip this to a Gardevoir GX, you're suddenly dealing 120 damage more.
Yeah, it's it can really turn the tide for you if you're brave enough to play Gardevoir in this format.
Yeah, if you dodge all the metal Pokemon, yeah, it could work.
Could work.
And then the unit energies. This is kind of reminiscing of the Blend energies all the way back. I think they were released at Dragon Exalt. It could be wrong though.
I believe.
Yeah, the Blend energies did saw some play, and this actually does the exact same thing. It provides a colorless energy, but when this is attached to a Pokemon, it provides grass, fire, and water at the same time, and the other one provides metal, psychic, and lightning at the same time. So maybe people will try and make combinations or make just deck cards if you do plan on using this, but we're now in a heavy format where everybody's playing Enhanced Hammer, so I'm not too sure about the energies.
Yeah, it's a tough call either way.
And then the wonderful full arts.
Yep. Now we're just gonna kind of look at these more than anything. We've already talked about them all. So we've got Leafeon here first.
Yeah, and then for Pheromosa, I got a reprint here because it was only available in a collection box, but now you can just pull it out of a pack, and the artwork looks pretty neat, I guess. All that green, I definitely like the artwork on that.
It does look pretty nice. Next up here, we also have this lucky person in this picture who happened to already have 3 of these.
Why is this not me?
Oh man, 3 full art Glaceon GXs in this picture here. Very, very nice looking art on that as well.
That circuitry, man.
Yes, I actually have that circuitry, the Japanese one that's pictured here. I did pull it out of a booster box of what is it, SM5 Plus, I think.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep, I do have one of these. It is very nice in person.
Yeah, it looks pretty.
All right, we also have Dawnwing's Necrozma here. I actually have this one in English already as well, this full art. Definitely, like I said before, the way that they have these cards outlined in red really makes it look good on the background.
Indeed, and the artwork is just so outstanding. I love it.
Indeed.
And then the beast itself, the Ultra Beast with the most HP, Celesteela gets a reprint. I love it.
Yes. We have that one. Also, we have Duskmane Necrozma GX. Again, outlined in red. This one, especially on this background, this lighter color background, really makes the Pokemon pop off of that one. And then we have Dialga.
The legendaries.
Yes, Dialga and Palkia. Can group them together since they're part of the same generation anyway. And they're facing each other.
I do love the way that they're implementing the teams here. Everybody was saying like Sinnoh confirmed or something when this set released. But with the Sun and Moon, the 6 Sun and Moon set, there was going to be, I think, another focus on another region, I guess.
Kalos.
It's not good. Yeah, Kalos. That's exactly. Yeah, with Greninja, Yveltal. How could I forget?
Yeah.
So I don't think Sinnoh is confirmed, but Pokemon do have habits of getting their Pokemon video games re-amped for the new console. So maybe we could see Sinnoh. I don't know. Let me know what you guys know.
I'm sure it'll happen. It's just a matter of time. All right, let's go into the trainers now. So we've got Cynthia first.
The card to get.
Then we've got Gardenia. Wait a minute. I did not realize. What? I didn't know Lana was in here as a full art.
Nobody knew.
Oh my goodness, I didn't even know that. That's kind of funny. So Lana finally gets a full art as well. If I can get these things to minimize, there we go. We got the Lily.
Lily is amazing. I would love one of those in my Greninja deck.
Yes, I can definitely see that one working out well. I love the background with this. The color splash really does look nice. We've got our Looker, and we also have... Oh, come on, go away. Oh my goodness, it just didn't want to go anywhere. We finally got Lusamine. Yeah,
in her beast form. Ooh.
Yeah, very, very nice. I almost didn't recognize her with that hair. Oh my gosh. We got Mars in the Pokemon Fan Club.
Wow, a bunch of full art trainer cards in the set.
There's a lot. And then to close it out with Volkner.
7, 8, 9. 9 full art trainers. What is this? Whoa.
Massive amount of full art trainers. This is a collector's dream right here.
Indeed, and then you also have the rainbow rares for all the... Oh, wow, we're still not done. So after all those rainbow rares, so the exact same art like the full art, but then sparkly and white with that rainbow pattern, we have also the Crushing Hammer here. Wow. Crushing Hammer Secret Rare. Combine that with your Enhanced Hammer Secret Rare, and your stall deck is now pimped out.
There it is. I'm just kind of showing them on screen for everybody. Yep, there's the Crushing Hammer right there.
You always have to have luck with Crushing Hammers, but once you land that hit, the reaction on your opponent's face is like, you had 3 heads in a row. What is this?
Exactly. Or you have 3 tails in a row, and
then they're laughing at you. Oh, no.
Exactly. We also have a secret rare, a skateboard in the same sets. Right fresh off it, being a brand new card, we get a secret rare of it as well. Same thing goes for the Missing Clover.
Why even? Imagine 4 secret rare Missing Clovers, and you get them in your opening hand. Whoa.
Oh man. The rarity stacking begins. Oh no. We also have a Peeping Red card here, which we saw from last set, I believe. Was that Crimson Invasion was introduced?
I think it was Crimson Invasion, yeah.
Yep.
Also disruptive.
Very disruptive as well. And our unit energies already have secret rare versions as well.
So if you play 1 or 2 copies, you might as well play the secret rare.
Yeah, I mean, why not, right?
And then the craziest thing happened. Remember the golden Zekrom and golden Reshiram from the legendary treasure set? We're having them. Yeah, we're having the exact same thing for Solgaleo and Lunala. Whoa. And they're going to be expensive cards.
They are. I actually had the honor of seeing that Lunala card pulled in real life at our pre-release that I recorded at, well, at this point, it would have been the 20th, so that's Saturday. I saw it in real life, and it is a beautiful card in person.
Nice. So I guess that pretty much wraps it up. The only thing I have to mention here is that the Solgaleo GX is definitely a reprint from the Sun and Moon base. Same for Lunala GX, so not new copies of these type of Pokemon.
Nope, not at all. But still very cool looking. So we have 4 different rarities of those Solgaleo and Lunala cards.
Wow. For people that like to play all different versions of a Pokemon in a deck, your guys will be really happy about that.
Now you can play one of each.
Yay! Yeah,
all right.
I think this pretty much wraps it up. So hopefully you guys enjoyed our little set review, or actually little. We're actually at 1 hour and 20 minutes. I don't think this is called a little review.
No, not anymore. That went way longer than I thought it would. But then again, we're talking about a massive 173 card set, so you can't be too surprised, especially with the amount of good stuff in it.
Indeed, and we had a ton of fun. So hopefully you guys had a ton of fun as well. Let us know in the comment section what you guys think about the Ultra Prism set and what your favorite card is. And I'm gonna leave the closure to Professor K.
Alright guys, if you're watching this here on my channel, make sure you guys go check out ZapdosTCG. A lot of really good competitive content over there. He's been at this, like I said, since 2011. Definitely knows what he's talking about. So I highly recommend incorporating him into your YouTube subscriptions as far as competitive TCG content go. So definitely go and check him out. I'll leave a link in the description down below here on my channel. And if you happen to be watching this from over there and you don't know us, Pokemon Evolutionaries. So we appreciate you guys coming and watching this set review video here together. Had a lot of fun with you.
Yeah, indeed. Have a fantastic day, guys. And you too, Chris. Enjoy the rest of your day. We'll be talking soon enough.
That's right, guys. Take care and have a great day.
Peace out.